to Triple Threat Talk, episode 120. I am PostMaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with my colleagues, Big B, Brandon DeMiro, Top Dino, Dolo, and, well, I guess there's no Doc this week. He said he would be here, he's supposed to be here, but he's not here. So we show, like they say, the show must go on.
This will be a very interesting episode of Triple Threat Talk. We'll get to that a little later.
Yep, absolutely. From the Buck and Five, to start user questions, if you had to choose what game would be your game of the year, GTA 5 or The Last of Us, Big B, what would it be?
I have played both. I haven't beaten both. I beat The Last of Us. I'm still in the process of beating GTA 5 just because there's so much content. For me, I mean, they're both great games, and there's no doubt in that. But for me, personally, I think The Last of Us is the game of the year choice for me, just because of what that game did, story-wise, everything that went into it, the gameplay, the acting. It was like you're watching a really good Hollywood blockbuster movie, and I have never experienced a game that kind of tugged your emotions through the whole process, and that's kudos to definitely the people that played it, and it's definitely first with Troy Baker. He's really becoming one of the premier voice actors in gaming. Especially since he's becoming the Joker at the new Batman game coming out. But for me, I think it's The Last of Us is the game of the year. I wouldn't be shocked if GTA 5 won just because of the scale of it, but I think for me, it's The Last of Us.
I haven't played either. I'm not a big that type of game. I like video games, but those type of games. I'm more of a sports game. Every once in a while I'll delve into like an action game or something like that. So, right. But thank you, Big B, for that insight on that. Also from the Buck and Five, do you think that the storyline with Daniel Bryan will lead to Triple H wrestling again? And do you think that he needs to wrestle anymore?
This is funny, we were talking about this earlier. I think this will lead to Triple H wrestling again. I think with who's involved in the Hell in a Cell match, the referee, Shawn Michaels, I think there could be some kind of tension with Daniel Bryan in the match, and Triple H want to do what's best for business. So I think that something might happen between him and Shawn, and they might get an altercation that could set up a match at WrestleMania 30. Who knows? But it's what I've been hearing. They're trying to keep Michaels and Triple H separate from on TV, so that way when they meet, it's a big thing, and I think that's what's going to happen now. So I think they have an altercation, and I think this might set something up.
I agree with Big B. He doesn't like the fact that Shawn Michaels could be coming back to wrestle, but I can't blame him if he wanted to, and I can't blame WWE for asking him to. I mean, he is the showstopper, the main eventer, the Mr. WrestleMania.
All of the above.
For no reason. There's a reason why he is that. Right. So I agree there. Also, and finally for the Buck and Five, which team's undefeated streak ending do you think was bigger and had more importance? Michigan losing to Penn State or Stanford?
Easily Stanford. Michigan was not playing very well in the beginning. They were struggling against team. They almost lost to Akron. That was almost a loss for them. So definitely Stanford. Stanford was top 4. Stanford was in the top 5. And losing the game they lost to Utah, I believe they lost to, was big for them. They dropped to 13th. Now they're out of the picture for a national championship. They had a look of maybe getting in to a national championship game, but now I don't see that happening for Stanford. Stanford losing that game, that's a huge significant loss for Stanford for that program. It's definitely Stanford.
I agree. Stanford, if they were undefeated, had a good shot to play for the national title, being in the Pac-12, because UCLA is up there ranked pretty high, so if they can knock them off. I know USC's a little down, but you also got Washington.
Washington losing to Oregon kind of dropped them off.
Yeah, and Oregon's up there as well.
Oregon's second-ranked team.
Yeah, so, obviously, Stanford losing is way more significant than Penn State.
Right.
From Against All Odds 20, Big B, what do you think of Beyond Two Souls, and could it be Game of the Year?
Well, we answered that question from Buck and Five about my picks for Game of the Year. Definitely, I think it's Last of Us. Beyond Two Souls, I heard mixed things about. I heard it wasn't as good as people anticipated. From that company, Quantic Dream, they made a game on the original, like the Xbox and the PlayStation 2. It was called Indigo Prophecy. That was the type of game they put. Then they made Heavy Rain, which got huge critical acclaim. And then this is the next game they made, Beyond Two Souls, and didn't fare as well. It didn't get like the high scores they expected. It got like 7s and 7.5, no 9s or anything. So it wasn't a groundbreaking. Again, I haven't played it. Am I going to play it? I don't know. There's a lot of things coming out that I'm looking forward to, especially the new PS4 is coming out next year, especially W2K14 looks really good to me. And there's other things I'm looking forward to as well. So I don't know if I'm going to get around to playing that. I was kind of disappointed to see the score get what it got, but I don't think that's the Game of the Year game for me. I don't really I think it's between GTA 5 and The Last of Us for me. So.
Again, I'll revert back to my statement I said a while ago, and that is it's another one of those games. It's not really in my genre of games, and I lean heavily on the gamer here to tell us all about
the gamer.
that for sure. And finally, from Against All Odds 20 to wrap up user questions. After SmackDown this past week, he seems to be a little confused.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know.
What's he confused about, though? I mean, I can't help him with certain things. So.
Well, apparently he thinks we can help him out, so we're out to help him out. Right. We're here for you, buddy. Right. Are they pushing Sandow as a face now, or what?
That's what I'm hearing. They're pushing him as a face, but, I mean, the thing with Damien Sandow is I don't know what they're doing. He's just been utilized horribly ever since he won the Money in the Bank. He hasn't won a single match. He hasn't even been used that much. Usually you have one or the other, okay? Usually have them lose a lot, but they're still featured somewhat. But he's not doing either. He is not featured a lot. He's been in like pre-show matches on the pay-per-view. He hasn't really wrestled a lot. He's not even on Raw in the last couple of weeks, so I don't know what they're doing in terms of him. I guess the rebranding or something like that. I don't know what they're doing, but he's been, to my knowledge, he's the worst booked Money in the Bank person I've ever seen. Not only is he not, like I said, not only is he not being used, but he's not winning. It's just a very odd thing. It's like he didn't even win anything. You know what I mean? It's not like he's in the position to potentially cash in on somebody, or like, you know, if something happens to Del Rio during a match, and he can, you know, there's no suspense for that. They're not even using Santa, so I don't know what's going on with that. So.
Yeah, I agree. It makes no sense to me. I mean, yeah, they could be making him a face. They have to do something, because, like you said, it's a little weird that he's on this massive losing streak, and you know nobody seems to understand why, and everybody's just kind of like, okay, what's the point of making him Money in the Bank if all he's going to do is lose? It makes no sense.
Yeah, and then are they going to do what they usually do? Lose, and cash in and
win.
You know what I mean?
And I know a lot of times WWE has that moniker of tearing somebody all the way down to bring them back up.
I know. The thing is, I know Daniel Bryan was, but he was at least used. He was at least featured somewhere. And then when he cashed in, it was kind of like, oh, okay. But he was at least utilized somewhere. Exactly. He's not even being used, Sandow. He's just there. And he's not there.
So with that's user questions this week. We want to thank everybody for that. And with his question about Beyond Souls and
Beyond Two Souls,
and
Damien Sandow's confusion.
Damien Sandow confusions, I think Against All Odds 20 is a good nominee for this week's Triple Threat Talk episode 120 Viewer of the Week. And with that, since the doc's not here, we'll get right into headlines. Right. Let's start with some college football action. Heisman Watch, your top Heisman Watch goes right now. Marcus Mariota of Oregon is number 1. A big matchup coming up this weekend. You got Clemson going one-on-one against Florida State. Florida State, a 3-point favorite on the road, which is a little surprising because both teams are undefeated and both teams look really, really good. But so you got both quarterbacks from that game, Taj Boyd of Clemson, Jameis Winston of Florida State. Johnny Manziel, who Big B pointed out earlier, is putting out better numbers this year than last year, and he won the Heisman last year. So he's making his case for a back-to-back Heisman run. And Teddy Bridgewater is also still there, but he's pretty much fallen off.
They're not playing as well.
And when that brings us to last week, it was more of a defensive type game for U of L than an offensive type game.
I think the pressure of the Scots when they got to Bridgewater, I really do.
They did defeat Rutgers 24-10. It wasn't pretty, but I mean 8 sacks and 4 interceptions.
Good defense that week,
The defense definitely came out to play there. Texas, in a surpriser, upsets number 12 Oklahoma. 36-20. All we've heard for the last month is Mac Brown's fired. Mac Brown's
he's got to keep winning to save his job.
I mean, heck, you just beat undefeated in 12th ranked Oklahoma. I don't think you're going to go anywhere.
Well, I mean, they got to keep winning. So.
South Carolina absolutely obliterates Arkansas 52-7 in a snooze fest. LSU over Florida 17-6. That's always a good knockdown, drag-down battle when you get those two SEC powers together, for sure. UAK gets absolutely destroyed by Alabama.
They played good in the beginning.
The first quarter and a part of the second, it was close.
Yeah.
And then they just fell apart. The quarterback for Kentucky got hurt.
Yeah. I thought Maxwell Smith is better.
Well, that's what we all thought, but I guess they all thought that the other guy was better. But they all thought Maxwell Smith was. But anyway, no matter, Bama Roll Tide for sure, 48-7.
The thing about LSU beating Florida, they're a team that could probably beat Alabama in the SEC championship. That gives a chance for like Oregon or either Clemson or Florida State to jump in there.
And the surprise team of the year, a team that was unranked, a team that wasn't even on anybody's radar, Missouri, waltzes in and defeats Georgia.
And then they lose their quarterback for the whole season.
The whole season. They are undefeated, but that's with James Franklin under center as their quarterback. And now he is out for the year with the injury. So definite implications there for sure. Coming up this week in college football, U of L, probably their toughest game to date sure. Friday night against Central Florida. Stanford and UCLA, that should be a good one. I know Stanford's coming off that loss. But you know they're going to be looking to rebound, and UCLA is not going to be an easy task for them to do that.
Especially with Brett Hundley quarterback.
Alabama takes on Arkansas, which should be a snooze fest. Probably the game of the week for sure, Florida State at Clemson. Like you said, Florida State 3-point favorite. What do you think about that? What do you think going into this game?
I mean, obviously two quarterbacks that are touted for the Heisman in Taj Boyd and Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, the freshman, has really been lights out. Last week, these teams both played. Clemson played Boston College, and Clemson didn't really play as impressive against Boston College. Florida State goes to play Maryland, and Maryland has a pretty good defense, and that doesn't matter to Florida State. Florida State wins 63-0. So the offensive output for Florida State is phenomenal. So the 3-point favorite on the road is really a really generous thing for them to get, especially since Clemson's so good at home. It's going to be a great game. I know that. I'm going to be tuned in. Their college game is actually going to be live from Clemson, South Carolina for that game. It's going to be great. I'm looking for a real... And this is, again, I think LSU is playing good enough. I think they could possibly beat Alabama in the SEC championship. So the winner of this game could play the national championship game. If Oregon doesn't stumble, they could play Oregon. It could be Florida State or Clemson. So this is going to be a great game. And back to Oregon real quick. This team plays another level. I watched the game with them playing Washington in Seattle. The team is on that level. Oregon is just a step above a lot of teams. I think if they played Alabama, I think Alabama would lose to Oregon. I really do. Right. Mariota just has command of that offense. They just know how to run certain things, and it's surprising because they lost Chip Kelly, who's the organizer of the offense. He leaves to go to Philly, and they bring somebody else in, and they just pick up right where they left off. They're just as good as they were, if not better.
It's a well-oiled machine up there.
I watch Washington's Washington's no pushover. So I watched that whole game, and Washington just had no answers for Oregon, and I think
it helps that the founder of Nike pays for a training facility up there, and Oregon's training facility is better than some NFL
Right,
teams.
Exactly. I think right now Mariota is a clear favorite for the Heisman. You could have maybe the favorite. Depends how good they play this Saturday between Winston and Boyd.
Right.
But I think right now, unless something happens to Oregon where they lose and he has a bad game, I think Mariota's your Heisman winner, and then I think second place whoever wins the game on Saturday.
All right, that's pretty much takes care of college football this week. I know you had a quick tennis note you'd like to discuss.
Oh yeah, two things. Well, this past weekend, Shanghai Masters took place in Shanghai, China. Go figure. The finals were Novak Djokovic and Del Potro won the final. And Djokovic wins. He won the one in China and now the one in Shanghai, the China tournament and the one in Shanghai tournament. So he's doing really well trying to end the year. Federer continues to struggle. He could have played Djokovic in the quarters, but he lost to Monfils. And then Federer announced this past week that he split with his coach Paul Annacone of 3.5 years. Annacone, if you don't know, he actually was the coach of Pete Sampras back when Pete Sampras was playing. So that's a kind of interesting.
That's a big deal.
Contrast to him. So Federer's got to retool some things. He's had a tough year this year. He switched. Everyone's telling him to switch the racket, switch the frame. He switches and he plays bad. He switches back. He's still not playing consistently. Has had the back issue and splitting with the coach. So obviously Federer has a lot of things to fix before the World Tour Finals in London at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens if he should make it. He's right in the cusp. I think he's like 7 or 8.
Right.
Federer to be that low is very odd for Federer to be like at the 7th or 8th spot in the rankings. But Nadal's playing great and Djokovic is playing, I think, even better. So I think depending on who wins that, I think if Djokovic wins the World Tour, I don't know how the rankings work, whoever has more points. But I think if Djokovic wins the World Tour Finals, he could probably be number 1 again, which I think would be. I think those two are playing on the level. Djokovic and Nadal are definitely the two best players in the world right now. And Del Potro looks good. Del Potro beat Nadal to get to the finals against Djokovic, and he looked as good as he has when he won the U.S. Open. So.
All right. A little NASCAR quick note. Brad Keselowski won this past weekend at Charlotte, passing Casey Kane on a late race restart. They will head to Talladega, the wild card in the chase, this week on Sunday. So check that out. And when we come back, we'll get right into NFL coverage and talk about last week and things that were. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Eli, who are you talking to?
I'm not talking. I'm watching football.
Watching football?
Yeah, with DirecTV NFL Sunday Ticket Max, you can watch every game every Sunday afternoon on any device, like your computer, tablet, or phone.
Football? On your phone?
Football on your phone.
It's football on your phone. It's football on your phone.
It's football on your phone, that's what I said.
It's football on your phone. You can watch it in bed.
Take it with you wherever you go.
Show your friends and watch them all go
It's
home.
football on your phone. It's
Yeah.
football on your phone.
It's football on your phone, so now's your chance
To have football on your phone and football in your pants.
Look at this guy using his phone as a phone.
Your phone ain't for calling,
Your phone's for footballing.
It's football on your phone.
Yeah.
Football on your phone.
Let me ask you a question. What do you get when a football gets down with your phone?
It's football on your phone.
Yeah.
It's football on your phone.
If you're on a date with Simone,
Football on your phone.
if you're taking out a small loan,
Football on your
when
phone.
you're sitting on your throne,
Football on your phone.
when you're buttering a scone.
Football on your phone. It's like I spilled milk all over your blouse by accident or on purpose. It's like the milk is like football and your blouse is the phone.
It's football on your phone. It's
Yeah.
football on your phone.
Football on your phone means football all the time.
Do you want that?
He does, she does, our dad does.
Does your dad want it? I mean,
It's football on your phone.
yeah.
What do you think Alexander Graham Bell would say if he saw you watching football on your phone?
Who cares? Dude's dead.
It's football on your phone.
Yeah. Get NFL Sunday Ticket.
Only on DirecTV.
Yeah.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. As you can see, the doc is still not with us, but my good friend Big B has stayed with me here for this next segment, and myself, PostMaster Jones. So getting into some NFL news and notes from last week. Big B, if you were in attendance this past weekend at Reliance Stadium, you probably heard something maybe not surprising, but definitely caught the ire of many Houston Texans.
And the
players.
Rams, too.
And the Rams. Matt Schaub was injured on a play. He injured his leg on a play. And as he was being taken off the field, the fans cheered that Matt Schaub was injured. Cheered.
It's distasteful. I mean, again, all right, the Texans, they're bad. They're playing awful. They've lost 4 straight, starting with the one they lost to us. And I think, I'm not just tooting my own horn because of my team, but I think the mental way they lost to us, being up by so much, then and Seattle coming back and winning overtime, that takes a lot out of you mentally. And they haven't been the same since. They lost to us. They lost to San Francisco. They lost to St. Louis. And they've lost 4 straight. So they don't look like the team they were last year, where they were favored to win the AFC South and if again the playoffs. That's just distasteful. I mean, they're really treating Matt Schaub horribly. Not just mentioning that they went to his house and braided him there, and then someone getting. You don't cheer for someone getting injured. That's just as Brian Cushing put it, barbaric. It's awful that the fans are cheering for this. And
We
then
can boo when a bad play happens.
yeah, it's fine. And then what
So
happens?
you suck.
So let's look what happens. Schaub gets hurt. He gets cheered off the field because he's hurt.
So the replacement that you all want,
TJ Yates comes. He throws a pick six.
and then he throws another interception.
98 yards return for toe. Pick six is not just common for Matt Schaub, it's common for all Texans quarterbacks. Apparently.
Yes, apparently.
This is just awful. The fans of Houston should be ashamed of themselves.
Dominican Sue be investigating again. This time for his hit on Brandon Whedon. That's no surprise there. He's a big troublemaker.
He didn't win his appeal either.
He didn't win his appeal. So by doing what he did, he made things worse for himself. He's always been a dirty player.
Yeah,
He'll always be known as a dirty player.
He can deny that he's not dirty, but I mean the proof is right there on the screen. I mean from the play on Thanksgiving, from the low blocks, there's a bunch of evidence for Sue the way he acts, and it's just not good for him. So
some bad news for the Green Bay Packers. Former UK star and NFL star Mr. Randall Cobb out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken leg.
Yeah,
that's a tough break
big
for
loss
him.
for Green Bay.
Big loss for Green Bay. He was definitely becoming one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets.
Yeah,
and it was bad to see. I don't wish anybody hurt at all.
But I watched the game. I watched the game on Sunday between them and Baltimore, and they lose Randall Cobb, they lose James Jones. So, but there's Jordy Nelson. He's still around. He throws a big pass to him. So, but this is a big loss for the Packers because he's not just a good receiver for Aaron Rodgers. He's a good return man for them as well. He provides a really good dynamic for them. That Seahawks will get back if Percy Harvin comes back. He's the kind of same player. So for them to lose Cobb for like almost the whole rest of the regular season is not good for them. Hopefully he'll be back for the playoffs because they need him for the playoffs, I think, for them to really be a more dangerous team.
Right, absolutely. So, Big B, let me ask you this. So, Big B, most people know by now when they watch this show that Big B edits the show, and Big B produces the show, and Big B puts the show, and he takes care of all that. But you know what, Big B? I'm not happy.
Oh, okay.
I'm not happy.
Why are you not happy?
Well, I think your performance could have definitely produced some better work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Me saying that to you. Me saying that to you.
I see where you're going.
Would be like what just happened. So Jim Irsay, boy oh boy, and we're gonna get to him again, but I'm getting to him now too. Really putting his foot in his mouth this time. He's not happy because Peyton Manning, while he was quarterback at the Colts, they only won 1 Super Bowl.
And they went to 2.
And they went to 2.
Well, first of all, before we get into what we're talking about here, first of all, they played, the one they lost, no one was going to beat New Orleans in that Super Bowl. No, none. That was the year that Hurricane Katrina
happened. What killed them was that onside kick to start the second
wasn't that the year Hurricane Katrina happened for them?
It was a year or two after, yes.
No one's going to beat that team that year in the Super Bowl. Forget it. They got that city was always so dialed in for them, no one's going to beat them.
Right, absolutely.
Not even Peyton Manning.
No. But, so, he leads you to several AFC championships. He leads you to 2 Super Bowls.
I was at the game last Sunday when the Indy played Seattle. All those banners up there, all because of him. Most of them, anyway.
That stadium you were sitting in was because of Peyton Manning.
Thank you, Peyton. Nice seats.
Why would he even go there? Especially, let's not forget, I think, don't get me wrong, Big B, but isn't there a big game Sunday night?
Oh, you're thinking of Monday, the Vikings and the Giants.
Okay. I must have been mistaken. So the Broncos are playing at the Colts this Sunday.
At Lucas Oil.
They're going to honor Peyton Manning before the game.
It's good.
But the week before the game, Jim Irsay is going to honor Peyton Manning by being an ass. I don't get it. Why?
I don't know. And again, this doesn't just throw Peyton Manning under the bus.
No.
Not Jerome Bettis, but under the bus figuratively.
That would still hurt, by the way.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
But not just to throw Peyton Manning under there, but it throws Tony Dungy, who's the coach, and Bill Polian was the owner of the team.
Absolutely.
Not the owner, the GM of the team.
Absolutely.
But, and then they've all come out and said something about it. They think Irsay is not being fair. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Peyton did so much for that team. I mean, not just winning championships, division titles, all that stuff, but he made the Colts a relevant threat every single year.
Absolutely.
What team, except for maybe New England, can you see consistently they're going to go to Super Bowl? You can't say that about any team. There's no team in football that you can say that about now. So, he made the Colts a team that you could really think of. He almost fell down because
he's aghast. He just can't believe it.
But I mean, I don't know why. He made the Colts what they are today. They are a team everyone looks at saying could they be a threat to win the Super Bowl against the AFC Championship. And now, why say this about Peyton Manning?
I don't know. So a couple games to note real quick, and then we're going to take a quick break. The Giants continue to lose. They lose to the Bears. The Steelers finally win. They beat the Jets 19-6. The Broncos struggle, but they beat the Jags 35-19. I was not happy. Your Seahawks won 20-13 over the Titans.
Those fumbles.
Tom Brady beats the Saints.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
The reason they won that game is because they were able to shut down Jimmy Graham.
And the Chargers beat the Colts 19-9 by shutting Andrew Luck out, basically holding
They didn't have the ball. The Colts had the ball 20 less minutes than the Chargers did, and they were in the powder blue, so that's a good reason for them to win.
So with that, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into pick'ems right after this. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Triple Threat Talk.
IWU Louisville knows business. Not only did I earn my graduate degree, but I experienced a well-rounded education that benefits me my entire life.
The enrollment experience here is fantastic. They fit it around my schedule. They know I'm working. They know I have a family. They really took an interest in my goals here at IWU. IWU knows business.
Indiana Wesleyan University, Louisville. Change your life, change your world.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. The Doc has finally joined us. He was attending to prior engagements, but he is now with us. Before we get into pick'ems, he had a couple things he'd like to address.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a little bit about Marcus Mariota. He's one of those guys that, for Oregon, that they're putting up huge numbers. And to me, this is where I think University of Louisville is getting the short end of the stick, okay? Because Pac-12 conferencing is not much better than AAC conferencing. You have Stanford in there, okay? Really, let's call it what it is. You have Stanford in those ratings.
There's more than that.
There's a couple others. You have Oregon and Stanford,
Washington.
And you have Washington.
Washington's no pushover.
And that's pretty much it, though.
USC at times,
but not this year. And though, U of L, Rutgers, Cincinnati. Okay, it's a comparison. All right, it's not an exact comparison, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's a parallel comparison. Like, not much off. So you have Marcus Mariota being number 1. All right, and then you have Teddy being number 5. Granted, we were talking a little bit about it when I got here. The offensive coordinator this week, they should have really prepared for Devontae Parker not playing this weekend.
Right.
Because Teddy was definitely missing him in the end zone. And, of course, that's not Teddy's fault. It's not Devontae's fault he got hurt.
Right.
Like we were saying, the offensive coordinator should have planned for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a result, he's had 2 games in a row where his numbers have been kind of low. But, you can't always throw up 70, 75 points on people, because then you have, like Charlie Strong said earlier in this week, he's never going to apologize for a win, alluding to his 72-0 win over FIU that someone had talked to him about earlier this week. So to me, it's kind of Louisville getting the short end of the stick here, because the schedule is similar, not the same, but similar, and you have a talented young man, Teddy Bridgewater, who is suffering because of Pac-12 is looked at better and higher standard, kind of like the SEC.
Which I don't think it's that big. I mean, yeah, they have like 3 teams, but
so we're in agreement here. It's one of those things that that's not really that big of a difference. You have the big 3 for the AAC, of course, Cincinnati, U of L, Rutgers, and like we said earlier, you have Washington, Oregon, and Stanford for the Pac-12. So it's kind of 3 schools.
Right.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I just wanted to get off my chest. As much as you guys accuse me around here of not being not going against U of L at all times, that one was kind of bothering me this week. I've got to say that I've got the Cardinals side on this one. It's one of those things that I'm not too happy about that, and when it comes out to it. And then we had a new guy enter the Heisman race this week, Florida State. Did y'all see that? Yeah,
he's. He very well, if he wins this weekend against Clemson, he can very well win the Heisman.
And
second freshman in the row.
Billy Reed made a very good point. He doesn't make too many of them, but he made a very good point on Drew's show this week, Drew Diener. He said about this time every year, somebody who's not been in the Heisman race shows up. And I think we found our guy.
Jameis has been showing up all year.
But he hasn't been in the top 5.
No, but he's been really. I mean, he's just getting noticed now. I think because
this is the meaty part of the schedule.
We mentioned earlier that they played Maryland, and Maryland has a pretty good defense. They whipped them 63-0. But I've been watching Florida because Florida State's one of the schools because that's how I got into college football. I watched Florida State when I lived in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But Florida State now, with Jameis Winston, is getting recognition now, but he's been playing well all year. I mean, the first game he played, he only had two incompletions and none of them hit the ground.
Right.
So he's been playing great all year. But
I think he's just now kind of creeping into the top 5.
Yeah,
number 4, actually.
And I think I agree with him. whoever wins this game on Saturday is going to be the second. I was saying I think Mariot's playing at another level.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon's on another level. I was saying they played Washington this past Saturday, and Washington's no pushover, and Oregon just had their way with them. So I think Oregon's playing at another level right now.
And the one thing I wanted to also touch on, then we'll move on with pick'ems. What did you guys have to say about Jim Irsay? Because I put those comments in there. I think that's just ungrateful comments. I can't agree more with John Fox.
He's like,
but you all might have had a different take.
Well, it's like
I said he was an ass.
He's like, it's like he's being
exactly what I said too.
It's like he's being a hypocrite. They're doing the ceremony to honor him, and then you're just like, oh, by the way, one Super Bowl wasn't enough. It's like, what the heck? Come on.
Isn't that interesting though? The opposing team's quarterback goes to Indy, and they're having a celebration for him, which I told PostMaster earlier I agree with, because they're. You know, it's one of those things they never got to say goodbye properly.
And it was Peyton Manning's idea to draft Andrew Luck. That was his idea.
Yeah.
So it was. I just wanted to talk about those quick
Pretty good
things.
choice for Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I think so. It shows Peyton Manning knows what he's looking for, and he ought to. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best right now, and one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
One real quick thing I'd like for the viewers to check out, go to WDRB.com.
It's our local Fox affiliate.
Local Fox affiliate, and check out this article by John David Dyche. He's a Louisville attorney and a political contributor to WDRB.com. It is an article, and the article is titled, All NFL Names Are Offensive. Now, Big B read this earlier, and I read it, and just to give you just a quick paragraph of some of this, he said, and I quote, just to throw out a name, the Kansas City Chiefs. Because you know last week we were talking about the Redskins being offensive. Mm-hmm. He said, the Kansas City Chiefs are even worse than the Redskins by exalting only the male tribe leaders that nickname promotes illegitimate patriarchal hierarchies, which feminists blame for many problems. I mean, he also said that the Cleveland Browns are named after their founder, but that nickname may nonetheless stigmatize dark-skinned people, and the names that the Giants and Titans suggest superiority over people of smaller stature.
You know, I gotta ask, what's it say about the 49ers?
Okay.
Should we call it San Francisco hippies?
Yes. The 49ers names glorifies the greed of the gold rush. How inappropriate for a progressive paradise of wealth redistribution like San Francisco. Hippies would be a better nickname, perhaps with a peace sign logo to celebrate the city's status as capital of the 60s counterculture. But it's definitely a good article, and it's worth the read. You should check it out.
Oh, it sounds like it's funny.
It sounds pretty good. So let's get into pick'ems here this week. As you can see, we had a good week last week. Me and Big B went 12-3. The Doc went 11-4. His only blemish was because Tom Brady is epic.
5 seconds to go.
Ken Tompkins.
And then I don't remember who was in. I think it was Marquise Colston. I could be wrong. Who was going to run it back for the Saints? He tries to run it out instead of taking the knee to get your 5 seconds. And Drew Brees at that point has time to run a play, and I've seen him make plenty of Hail Mary passes.
And the thing about this game, I feel bad for people that they missed this because they left to go see the Red Sox game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like right across the street. The Sox, right.
The Dodgers are up, by the way, 4-2 right now.
Right.
Yeah, we know.
Okay.
We're all over it.
We're
covering it like a blanket.
Covering it like a blanket.
All right, so this week, Thursday night football, the Seattle Sea Chickens go on the road to the Arizona Fighting Fitzgeralds in a Thursday night battle. Duel.
They went on against Tennessee. Tennessee's no pushover. Tennessee's a little bit better than people give credit for, but the fumbles have to stop. They had 4 fumbles that game. They lost 2 of them, but that has to stop. Hopefully they clean up this week. They get Zach Miller back. They're still without Jacqueline. They're still without Bobby Wagner. But I still pick Seattle on the road. They're playing a little bit better now. I think offensively they put up over 450 yards on Tennessee's defense. So I pick Seattle.
I'm gonna have to go with Seattle too. I just think that the Cardinals aren't really much.
The part 1 of the toilet bowl games of the week, because we have 2 toilet bowl games.
There's one that's a huge flush.
This one is a minor flush. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't think the Falcons lose this game. I think the Bucs. I think they're better with Mike Glennon, but I don't think the Falcons go 1-5. I really don't think they do that. So
I didn't think they'd lose 4 in a row, but they did.
Falcons.
I've got to say the Falcons, though. Buccaneers are so bad.
The Bears go on the road to Washington to take on Robert Griffin III and the Washington Redskins.
Speaking of a bad team, the Redskins are bad. They have one of the worst defenses in football. I mean, anyone can score them at any time, and the Bears seem like they have an offense that can do it with Marshall, who can catch anything. I picked the Bears.
I picked the Bears.
I got to go with the Bears.
How about them Cowboys? They won again this past week, beating the Redskins. They go on the road to take on the Eagles, and we're not sure if Michael Vick is playing or not.
Right now, it's going to be Nick Foles, which I think they're a better team with Nick Foles. I really think they're a better team. He's a more prolific passer. He passes from the pocket. He can scramble. He's not a better run than Michael Vick. Let's not kid ourselves. But I think Foles is better for that team. So this is a tough game for Dallas. These are the two premier teams in the NFC East, as bad as it is, but these are the two best teams because Washington's bad and the Giants are just abysmal. I picked the Eagles. I think they're better with Nick Foles. I picked Philly.
I don't think the Eagles are quite good enough. I picked the Cowboys.
You know, Tony Romo's shown me a lot this year. It looks like their offensive plan for the most part is working right now. I got to go with the Cowboys.
All right.
I do agree with you, though. I think the Eagles are much better with Nick Foles.
The Patriots go on the road to take on Gino and the Jets.
Gino and the Jets.
Let's see here.
Gino.
They're without Amendola. They're without Gronk.
Yes. Maybe.
They're without. Well, we'll see if he decides to play.
If he decides
They're without Gerard Mayo.
I hope you guys talked about that.
They're without O.J. Mayo.
Gerard Mayo.
Yeah,
O.J. Mayo's a basketball player.
They still got to keep Talib, though.
He might not play. And they're out without Vince Wilfork.
And you're still picking the Patriots.
You would think, wait, Bigby's going to pick the Jets. But the Patriots have this one player named Tom Brady, so I picked the Patriots.
I picked the Patriots.
He can throw to a homeless guy in the street, they can still win.
You know, he is developing a good chemistry with
Patriots.
He is developing a good chemistry with Tompkins. I'm going to have to go with the Patriots as well.
Here's the thing about New England. If Peyton wasn't having such a remarkable year, Brady would be MVP because he's playing with really nobody.
Bills and Dolphins.
Oh wow.
You know, if they had EJ, I would pick the Bills, but they don't have EJ. They have either Thad Lewis or Matt Flynn.
Actually, it's going to be Matt Flynn. Thad Lewis has a sprained. That's why they brought him on. He's out for like 4
With Matt
weeks.
Flynn, give me the Dolphins plus 10.
Yeah,
I'll take the fish.
That's exactly what the spread is.
I didn't even look. I swear.
He didn't. It was over here. I'm taking the Dolphins. Dolphins at 10
with Matt Fluke.
The Chargers, off their big win against the Colts, go on the road to take on the
abysmal.
No, the ever improving, the vastly improved Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're improving to get Teddy. That's what they're doing. The Chargers win this game. I hope they win the powder blue, but they don't. They leave that at home. So I picked the Chargers though.
I picked the Chargers.
San Diego.
The Lambs, the St. Louis Sleeping Lambs.
What the heck was that?
On the road to take on Carolina Panthers.
Carolina played great last week.
They did.
I don't think. I mean, personally, for me, I don't think Adrian Peterson should have played. I think the emotion that he was going through, he shouldn't have played to begin with. But I think Carolina Cam Newton was able to do anything he wanted to that defense in that game, and I think the Rams winning last week is a case of Houston being just really bad. I picked Carolina.
Carolina.
And what could be a very good game.
Very good.
The Bengals at the Lions.
I think Calvin Johnson is going to play, even though he was hurt a couple weeks ago. He should be playing.
He played last week.
Reggie Bush is as explosive as anybody in the NFL. I picked Detroit.
Detroit, I'm looking here, they're a 1-point favorite, but I'm going to have to pick them. Ford Field is just on fire lately, you know?
Yeah.
The Niners.
The game you will be attending.
The game that the Doc will be attending.
Live on location.
And it won't be a slouch. It will not be an easy game.
No, it will not.
The Tennessee Titans at home. And if they had Jake Locker, I would be picking the Titans.
Right now, it's 85% San Francisco, 4 points on the road.
Again, if they had Jake Locker, I'd still pick the Niners, but it'd be a lot closer. But I think with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's prone to throw interceptions. He threw 2 against us Sunday. He's probably going to throw a couple more against you all. I picked the Niners.
Niners.
And Chris Johnson cannot run the ball. So
I've been saying that for years.
He won year. So.
7-0, you think? Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Texans.
The Texans are playing abysmal. I'm pretty sure it's going to be T.J. Yates to play this game. I think they should start Case Keenum, the rookie, but we'll see what happens. I think the Chiefs win this game. They go 7-0.
Touchdown, Kansas City. I think the Chiefs.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm picking the Chiefs.
Thank you, Rob Riggle.
All right. And the usually is one of the most highly touted games of the year because both these teams usually have a winning record and are really good. But they're both struggling mightily this year. The Steelers did get their first win this past week.
Over the Jets.
Over the Jets. It is the Ravens and the Steelers.
Steelers had a win last week. Good for them. Ain't going to happen this week. I picked the Ravens.
I think they continue on their ways. I'll pick the Steelers because they're at home.
Ravens starting to click now, I think.
I'm going to pick the Ravens. I think they're
starting to click.
I agree. I think they're starting to click. They're starting to figure it out. Their defense is actually coming together a little bit.
They played great against Aaron Rodgers.
They did. And when you can hold the Packers
to
19 points, when your own defensive forces are depleted, that's to be commended.
Yeah.
Time for the wallop of the week.
Oh, yeah.
The Packers host the Browns.
Oh, my gosh.
Rodgers is going to throw for like 4 touchdowns. I picked the Packers.
Packers in a wash.
Packers.
Discount
double check. And when we get back from break, we'll talk about a game that
Sunday night and Monday night
that might be a little.
One game's going to be competitive. The other one you might want to bring a pillow to.
Yeah, you might want to. Yeah, it might be a Ryback match. Stay tuned. Triple Threat Talk. We'll be right back.
James, please don't do this.
I just had the best year of my career. I gotta keep things fresh.
Well, then let's just go to Foot Locker. They got all the fresh new gear.
But I have real talent.
Can I get playback? Okay.
I wear my shirt open so you see my chest. Girl, I work so hard into...
Is that me?
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. The Doc.
Lock.
Gary Lockard, Big B, Brandon Amiro with Top Dino, Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers with Top Domo. Quite interesting. Yeah.
We're playing a Halloween soundtrack at some of our stores, and the Godzilla song was on it today.
That's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
So, the final 2 games to be picked this week.
One's the game of the week and one's
one's the game of the month.
One might be a nominee for game of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one just might be the worst Monday football game all year.
Yes. The Denver Broncos go into the Drum, Lucas Oil Stadium. Welcome home, Peyton. You only got us to 1 Super Bowl, and you suck. But we're gonna give you.
You know what?
We're gonna give you a ceremony.
You know what though? I'm gonna be tuning to that game, obviously. I would not be surprised if Irsay's at midfield and they boo him. I would not be surprised if they boo Irsay.
They're going to put out a nice spread, maybe some nice Indianapolis burgers, because you know they have Bob's Ugly Burgers up there.
Maybe from Kroger.
Maybe from Kroger.
Doc, what's the line on that game,
the line right now
say Denver by 3.
is at...
I'm going to say Denver by a field goal.
I think it was Denver by 6, actually.
Wow!
Hold on. It's Denver by 6.5.
I will be in attendance at that game. So
it's confirmed?
It's confirmed.
All right.
Nice.
Marquee game to go.
Spend your whole paycheck to go.
Are you really?
It's a car payment. I'm going.
See,
who needs a car anyway?
This is a man who has his priorities in order right here.
I'm the reason the government shut down.
Who needs to drive anywhere? Who needs cars? We can all learn something and walk.
Hey, you know what?
You got. Well, I wish I had the distance that you had to go. Mine's 3 hours. Yours is an hour.
The reason I look at it like this, okay? You only get one go around at life.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy yourself.
That's why I went to Seattle a couple weeks ago.
I mean, the Bills are...
Seattle and India.
Really? You went all the way to Seattle? How was it?
A little wet.
Did you go up to the space now?
I'm in Seattle and India tonight.
That was the Starbucks headquarters.
Expensive. $10 for a coffee. What is with this?
Did you get a venti? Or did you get a...
Venti, 20.
Anyway. So, no. But what I was saying is, you only live once. You got to have a good time. You never know when you're going to go. You never know when your number's called. You got to enjoy life. And what the hell. It's definitely an expensive...
see Peyton.
To see Peyton, probably for the last time in person.
I told him all year.
No, I mean, I don't know if he'll play anywhere this close.
How many times have you seen him?
Huh?
How many times have you seen him?
In person?
Yeah.
How many calls have you been to?
It's close to 10, I think.
Close to 10. I've seen him once or twice.
I would say you might have him playing again, but they're not going to play at Indy if they get to the championship. It's going to be Denver.
Yeah. So with that, the Denver Broncos on the road to take on Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts.
You know,
the teacher versus the pupil.
If the Colts didn't lose on Monday, I might pick the Broncos because I could see the Colts getting their second loss. I can't see the Colts being 4-3. I think Luck performs well. I think the Broncos are their first loss. I pick the Colts.
I pick the Broncos. And I think Because of Jim Irsay's comments, Peyton Manning throws for 6 touchdowns.
I agree. I think he's going to say, hey, Jim, I thought we were closer than that, buddy. I'm going to torch you a little bit, and then we're going to be okay after I torch you. But until after this game, you and I are not going to be seeing eye to eye.
So I see how it is. I picked the Colts against my own team, and I'm fine. But I picked the Colts against and I'm crucified.
That's right. You're crucified, my God. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
He didn't even pick the Colts against his team.
It's true.
I wanted to. I picked the Colts, but I didn't.
So you picked the Broncos?
Yeah, I picked the Broncos.
The double flusher, get the freaking Porta-John cleaner, and
you might want a plunger for this one.
Yeah.
Make sure it goes down.
Is it over yet?
No, it hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay.
This might even be a triple flush. Oh, it's that bad.
I guarantee
Get the snake.
The Minnesota Vikings on the road to take on the Giants.
Monday Night Raw's ratings will be the top on Monday Night Television.
I told them that.
Yes, it will.
Especially after we'll get to that later what happened last week, but if they continue. But so you have the Vikings. Now, will Josh Freeman play? They're saying he might. I think he will, but we'll see what happens if he can learn that playbook in time. If not, it's just bad top to bottom. Ponder doesn't have really much, and Castle's just playing bad. And then you have the Giants who have lie. Do the Giants get the first win here? I say they do. I think the Vikings' defense is just bad. I pick the Giants.
I'm going to say it this week because I have a feeling they're going to win.
Okay.
You can't spell elite without Eli.
Although you can try.
So I pick Eli Manning and the Giants.
I think the Giants get their first win.
All right.
So after this game, you have two teams that are in the play. One was in the playoffs, one almost made the playoffs with one win.
So that's Pick'ems this week. Good stuff there from always. Do we have a video this week? Is he decided on the word
send it tomorrow?
A little bit of faux pas on my part.
Yeah.
Because he did send a video last week. I was under the impression he was not going to. So we're going to take a break here, not break there, but we're going to take a break ourselves because we're going to show two videos for Brian Cannon. One from last week, one from this week.
Holy cow.
So enjoy Brian Cannon for a little while. So
okay, here we go. Take a break.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another edition of OVWMania here on Triple Threat Talk for episode 119. I am Brian Cannon. I'm a little under the weather this morning, if you can't tell, so you're going to have to excuse me a little bit, but I am on a high after last night the St. Louis Cardinals were able to clinch a spot in the National League Championship Series after disposing of the Pittsburgh Pirates, so they're moving on in the playoffs, and I'm really excited about that, of course. But moving on to OVW, we've got a couple things to go over this week. First of all, we've got last weekend's newest edition of the Saturday Night Special, and then the most recent OVW television, which was episode number 738. But first, let's go back to the Saturday Night Special, which was held at the Davis Arena on Saturday, October the 5th. A quick rundown of what happened. The first match of the night was the Marauders, which consisted of Joe Coleman, Flash Flanagan, and Clint Poe. They defeat the team of Double Platinum, Rockstar Spud and Ryan Howell, and their partner Aaron Sky. After the masked Marauder comes out and cracks Aaron in the back with a chair while the ref was distracted with everybody else fighting on the outside. The body guy brings out a body brigade to help protect him from the assassin, which consists of 4M, Mr. Marvelous, Melvin Maximus, Elvis Pridemore, and the VIP clubs Robo De Luna and Jay Best. He issues an open challenge, which is answered by the Welsh Colossus, Rob Terry. The body guy then backtracks and says, oh, I meant that this was a open challenge for a handicap match. And it doesn't matter. Rob Terry goes through all 5 men. The body guy tries to escape, but is brought back to the ring by the assassin, by his hair, and Rob Terry finishes him off with a power slam. Dylan Bostic and Evan Markopoulos are still trying to outdo each other. They each grabbed a partner. It was Dylan Bostic and Stefan J. Baxter III against Evan Markopoulos and Eddie Diamond. Stefan and Eddie end up turning on them, but they end up, Evan and Dylan, disposing of them out of the ring. And then while Evan has his back turned, Dylan comes back in behind him and rolls him up with a handful of tights to get the victory for his team. Marcus Anthony gets a big win over Jay Bradley. Jay had been trying to take out his leg for the last couple weeks, and Marcus was limping a bit, but was able to take out Jay's knee and kind of get some retribution, making him submit to a figure 4 leg lock. The Miss OVW contest was delayed as Michael Titus was bringing out the participants in the Miss OVW contest. Lady Tapa attacked Holly Blossom from behind and said that was a message to her sister for later tonight. Said it's her ring, her island, and she will walk away as the OVW Women's Champion. Then the television title was on the line, and we have a new OVW television champion as Shiloh Jones is able to defeat the Pope, Elijah Burke. Now granted, the Marauders interfered. They were sent to the back by the referee, but they came running back out again, everyone except for Joe Coleman. And while the ref was trying to get them to the back, Joe Coleman came out behind the Pope from the other curtain, low blowed him, and Shiloh was able to roll him up to get the 3. The Best Team Ever took on Muhammad Ali, Vaez, and Michael Hayes for the OVW Southern Tag Team titles. And it was a very good back and forth match, good teamwork from both teams, but it was a time limit draw. There was no winners, which means still, as of right now, your champions are Ali and Michael Hayes. Then Hannah Blossom came out on fire, mad about her sister getting attacked earlier in the night by Lady Tapa, but it didn't matter. Lady Tapa puts Hannah Blossom away and is now your new OVW Women's Champion. And then the final match of the night, the main event, was Jamin Olivencia against James Moose Thomas, who was with Timmy Danger, for the OVW Heavyweight title. It was a no disqualification match. There was kendo sticks, there was garbage cans, chairs, tables, but the big stipulation was the loser leaves OVW. The loser, James Moose Thomas, after Jamin gets the victory. It was a really good match, and kind of surprised that Moose is leaving, but we want to thank Moose for all his contributions to OVW over the last several years. Hopefully it's not the end for him, but if it is, thank you, Moose, for all that you've done for OVW. But Jamin moves on. He disposes of Moose. He actually knocked Timmy Danger through a table during the match, which was, to me, one of the highlights. But after the show on Saturday night, he tweeted out that he is just days away from becoming the longest reigning OVW heavyweight champion in history. And he said that his next challenge personally is to challenge TNA superstar and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. And he's really hoping to get some buzz going about that. And originally he was just wanting to kind of create some buzz, but now it's actually a possibility of happening. So, he said the TNA offices have actually heard about it, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens with it. But I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go over the latest edition of OVW TV and a couple other small items. Stick with us.
Here we are.
Alright, so now let's go over the latest edition of OVW Television, which was taped Wednesday, October 9th at the Davis Arena. This was episode number 738. I usually don't go over the dark matches, but something that happened before the actual TV taping started, the return of Ben Hameen, who was the manager of the Insurgency, which was Ali and Omar Akbar at the time. He made his return to OVW. He interrupted the body guy who was going to show off his gorgeousness and gorgeosity. But then the Assassin's music hits, 4M ducks for cover, body guy cowers in the corner, and the Assassin actually comes out and takes out Ben Hameen, but he still pointed over and kind of did this number to the body guy, letting him know that he's still coming after him. As for the main show, Jamin Olivencia comes out, and if you watch the show this week, you'll see me front and center behind the ring. I actually had a poster for it, and we tried getting a Jamin Angle chant started, and I had a big pink poster that had "We want Jamin versus Angle," so it should show up pretty well on TV. But he talks about becoming the longest reigning OVW champion in history. He's interrupted, however, by Timmy Danger, who rolls out in a wheelchair and says that he was unprovokingly thrown through a table by Jamin, and he said that this war isn't over yet. And he keeps blabbing, and Jamin finally gets out of the ring and goes after him, but he is then caught from behind by a super kick, and it's the return of Johnny Spade, who then shakes hands with Timmy Danger and rolls him to the back. So Johnny Spade has returned, and Timmy Danger noted that he had someone to face Jamin that Jamin had never beat before with the title on the line. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be Jamin's next big challenge is if he can defeat Johnny Spade and keep the OVW heavyweight title. In other action, the Furions, the team of Marcus Anthony and Rob Terry, defeated the VIP Club, Robo de Luna and Jay Best. Pretty much a total squash. They finally had the Miss OVW contest. They brought out Jessie Bell, Lovely Lila, Ray Lynn, and Taylor Hendricks. Ray Lynn got distracted by Michael Titus' tie and had to be pulled away by Jessie Bell. Taylor Hendricks then tried grabbing the tiara, and Michael Titus said, no, she's not the winner, and she screamed and then pouted in the corner. And then Michael Titus announced that the winner of the 2013 Miss OVW was Lovely Lila. Lady Toppet actually came out to the ring as well, because the winner of Miss OVW was also the #1 contender for the OVW Women's title. Taylor Hendricks and Lovely Lila start having a tug of war over the tiara because Taylor thinks it belongs to her, that she should be Miss OVW. Lovely Lila finally pulls it away, but as she turns around after she pulls it away, she gets met with a big boot from Lady Tapa. And then, kind of in a funny moment, Taylor Hendricks grabs the tiara and runs off while Lady Tapa stands over Lovely Lila. Dylan and Evan are still trying to best each other. Dylan Bostic is coaching Aaron Sky, and Evan Markopoulos is coaching Stefan J. Baxter III. And Stefan gets the win over Aaron Sky thanks to some cheap tactics from... there was interference from both guys all through it, but in the end, Evan held down Aaron Sky's legs where he couldn't kick out to help his guy Stefan win the match. Backstage, the Body Guy and 4M, for whatever reason, are singing My Heart Will Go On from Titanic in the mirror. And 4M tries to get the Body Guy's attention because he looks up in the mirror to see the assassin, and he ducks below the mirror. And Body Guy then looks up and finally sees the assassin and turns around into a big clothesline and gets assassinated. Hayes and Ali come out and talk about still being the champions, even though the Best Team Ever was close. Best Team Ever comes out and says that the fans were chanting 5 more minutes, but they only needed 2 more seconds and they could have been the OVW Tag Team Champions. Ali then says that they're only the Best Team Ever in name alone because they are still the champions. And they end up saying, you know, how about we do this? How about starting next week we have a best 2 out of 3 series. Whoever wins 2 matches will be not only earn the right to be the Best Team Ever, but will be the OVW Southern Tag Team Champions. So that Best Team Ever accepts, but there's some pushing and shoving, and they end up kind of getting into a little scuffle. Has to be separated by the referees. But starting next week, we will see match number 1 in a best of 3 series between Ali and Hayes and the Best Team Ever, Rudy Switchblade and Jesse Goddard. Then the main event of the evening was a tag match. It was the Marauders, Shiloh Jones and Joe Coleman, against the Pope, Elijah Burke, and his partner, Eddie Diamond. The Marauders attacked them before the match, but they're still okay to continue. Pope and EFD get the win, and then they're attacked again by the Marauders. Then Pope grabs the mic and calls them back to the ring and says, look, I've got an announcement. He said, I figured something like this would happen, so I got this match scheduled before this match happened tonight. He said next week on the show, the TV title will be on the line. He gets his rematch against Shiloh Jones. And to make sure there's no outside interference, it will be in a steel cage. The Marauders surround the ring and try to attack yet a third time, but this time Pope and Eddie Diamond are able to stand their ground. And Pope gets a hold of Flash's kendo stick, which he renames Little Pope. And he misses Shiloh, but hits all the other Marauders to send them running from the ring. And that was the show. So a big cage match next week between Shiloh and Elijah Burke. The winner is your OVW TV champion. Plus you can expect more between Jamin and Johnny Spade. should be a really good show next week as well that we'll be talking about. So, as always, I'd like to thank referee Chris Sharp, who does a great job retweeting and sharing all my news and results. He's also, this week, got a new podcast out, Season 2, with the Body Guy, which is actually a good listen. So make sure you follow him at Ref Chris Sharp on Twitter. You can find him under Package Chris Sharp on Facebook, and make sure you follow him to listen to those awesome podcasts. He was also supposed to do another one with Alex Silva the other night. I'm not sure when he's going to be releasing that, but that should be a really good listen as well. Thank you to all the readers out there of OVWMania.blogspot.com, where you can find all the results, a little bit more details, what happened in the dark matches. You can find the top 20s, any other news or information I might have to pass along. Always a good place to check for your latest OVW news. And Jamin pulled me to the side yesterday and said that he's going to be releasing a statement today, which I'm filming this on Thursday, October the 10th. He said he's going to be releasing it today. I'm going to try to retweet it and get it out there. He also wants to try to see if we can get Jamin versus Angle trending during Impact tonight. So we'll see what happens with it. But hopefully we can get that done for him. And that pretty much will do it for this week. So have a great week as always. We'll come back next time and talk about the latest OVW news, see if anything's new on the Angle Jamin front. And for now, let's just send it back to you guys in the studio. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of OVWMania here on Triple Threat Talk. Now this video is for episode 120. It is probably the second one you're seeing, because Big B didn't realize I was going to have a video last week and he left it off the show. So hopefully he aired the first video before this one so that you're caught up and you kind of know what's going on in the OVW world. Now I'll be going over that in just a moment, but first I was hoping that I would be coming to you as a fan of the National League champion St. Louis Cardinals. They're still one win away from the World Series and being the National League champions, but they do have a 3-2 lead at this point over the Dodgers. And I think we can do it, but we've got to wait till Friday, October 18th now for Game 6 back at Busch Stadium. We can do it, right, Yachty? Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's coming soon. But getting back to OVW, we're going to talk about the latest episode that was filmed Wednesday, October 16th at the Davis Arena. It was episode 739. Don't forget all the dark matches. They had 4 that happened before the show because of the cage match. You can check out all the results from those at OVWMania.blogspot.com. As for the main show, it was kind of a short show as far as the number of matches they had, but they were big matches and they took up a lot of time. So the show started off with the first match of the Best of 3 series for the OVW Southern Tag Team titles between the best team ever of Jesse Goddard and Rudy Switchblade and their opponents, the champions Muhammad Ali Vaez and Michael Hayes. Before the match could even get started, the Furians, Rob Terry and Marcus Anthony, came to the ring, and they said that they wanted their tag title match now because they're #1 contenders, and they won the Nightmare Cup. Michael Hayes said that they waited too long to get their stuff together, so they're just going to have to wait for their opportunity. And Jesse Goddard said that this was the best team ever show, and that they needed to go eat a steak or something because it was their time to shine. So the Furians left the ring, and we had a very good back-and-forth match between the two teams. In the end, Ali is double super kicked out of the ring by Rudy and Jesse, and then they hit their finisher, the best finisher ever, on Michael Hayes to score the first victory in the Best of 3 series, which gives them, quite an advantage. So they have a good opportunity to become the tag champions with just one more win. However, after the match, the Furians return to the ring and destroy all 4 men, including hitting a massive power slam on Jesse Goddard where he had to be helped from the ring. After that, Jamin Olivencia came to the ring, and he said that he was in a bad mood, even though the fans were making him feel a whole lot better. He said that he wanted some answers from Johnny Spade as far as why he attacked him, why he aligned himself with the scumbag Timmy Danger. Timmy Danger comes rolling through the curtain in his wheelchair again with Spade close behind. And they get in the ring, and Spade says that he's been hearing all this stuff about Jamin being the longest reigning OVW heavyweight champion in history. And he says the only reason that's so is because he's been out with an injury and had surgery. He said if he was there, he would have already taken the title away from Jamin, and he wouldn't have had to listen to any of this. He said, plus, if you remember in history, he said that he has fought and beat Jamin 3 times, including last September in a 30-minute Iron Man match. And Jamin says that Spades sounds jealous, says that, that he doesn't really deserve a shot. And Johnny Spades says he understands. He goes, he knows Jamin's a family man, and he said that Jamin is probably ashamed that he would have to go back to his family and explain to them why he lost to Johnny Spade a 4th time. Jamin starts going after Spade, but Timmy Danger gets in the middle and grabs Jamin's arm to distract him, and that momentary distraction allows Johnny Spade to hit Jamin with another super kick to lay him out. Johnny stands over him and holds up the OVW heavyweight title to end that. Then they set up the cage during intermission, and that was our big main event. Like I said, it was kind of a short show. After they set up the cage, they show some interviews in the back with Shiloh Jones and the Pope, Elijah Burke. Then we have our cage match. Now, at the very beginning, the Marauders were sent to the back, even though they couldn't get in the cage necessarily anyway. But the Pope starts off early with some good offense. Shiloh comes back. Pope makes a comeback. Actually kicks Shiloh off as they're fighting, around the top of the cage. And when Shiloh falls, he falls down on top of Chris Sharp and takes out Chris Sharp. Then Pope, instead of going on and climbing out, stands on top of the cage and leaps from the top of the cage down on Shiloh in an incredible moment. Then Pope tries to climb out of the cage again, but the Marauders run back out to the ring, surround the ring. He has to try to keep knocking and kicking him off the cage to keep from getting in and interfering. Meanwhile, the masked Marauder that's been with him makes referee Josh Ashcraft, who was out on the outside in charge of the door, makes him unlock the door so he can slide in a steel chair to Shiloh. And Shiloh hits Pope in the back twice with the steel chair and then across the head. And Chris Sharp comes back too, and Shiloh is then able to get the pin and keep the OVW television title thanks to the outside interference. Now, after the show, I'm assuming this part wasn't on TV, the Marauders sent Nick Dumeyer back in the ring to get the handcuffs that Joe Coleman wears around his neck, and Pope gets back up and has Ashcraft lock the door and goes to town on Dumeyer with the steel chair, which the Marauders just leave Dumeyer for dead and go on to the back during all this. Then Pope leaves the ring and grabs the mic and gets on top of the announce table, and he says that it gets harder every time. He's very emotional. He says, but this is the third time now he's leaving OVW. He said that OVW is always home, that Danny Davis gave him a great opportunity 10 years ago, and he's been able to travel all over the world. He said, but he's going to be gone. He said, now, he will be gone for a while. He said, but he won't be gone forever. And he said that OVW will always be home, that he loves each and every single one of the fans, and to remember that the Pope is pimping. So that was the show. Even though it was basically 2 matches in the segment with Jamin and Spade, it was still a very good show. I would definitely recommend watching it if you haven't already by the time you view this Triple Threat Talk episode. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to try to keep it short and sweet because this is probably, like I said, the second video you're watching of OVWMania this week. So without further ado, I'm going to send it back to the guys in the studio. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you again next time.
The game's on the line, you're the star of the team. You deserve to smell fresh with a confident clean. You took a 40-minute shower and missed the second half of the game.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat. It's like that scene in Wayne's World, and they remember what the hell it is.
I saw the episode of Seinfeld
I'm in Delaware.
Where Kramer was coaching Miss America, and he said, "Oh, shut the," and then the limo driver hits the honk, and he's like, "Oh, shut the up."
And we're back talking about Seinfeld.
You should be happy. You're a Seinfeld fan.
I'm not a fan. I'm a fanatic.
Remember that episode?
Oh, it was on the other night.
Yeah, this is when I saw it.
Seinfeld. I mean,
Talk about a Ryback.
If you went into my basement, you'd find every single season of Seinfeld.
Really?
I'm not going to your basement.
Okay, you don't want to go in there.
No.
Ryback's down there.
Someone told me it was Silence of the Lambs.
Ryback's down there. He's teaching math.
I heard Jerry Sandusky was down there.
No, he's not down. He's in prison. What are you talking about? I did break him though. Anyway, we're back here on whatever the show is called now.
You're the one that thought Selena Gomez was hot.
I agree with him.
Thank you.
You're both pedophiles.
She's 18.
She's over 18. She's been over 18
like
for
19.
You're like 32. That's too old.
It doesn't.
That's too old.
You know, there are men that are 50 and 60 marrying 18-year-olds in today's society. If it's for their money, okay?
Talking about Courtney Stodden though?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Selena Gomez has turned into a very fine young woman.
You know what?
She finally dropped that girl. She finally
Pedophile.
She finally dropped that girl of a boyfriend, Justin Bieber.
Somebody get me out of here.
So anyway,
quickly.
Anyway, where were we?
Fast.
Where were we? Thanks to Brian.
Yeah, thanks to Brian for nothing.
I had a question to answer last week. I did a little bit of research with Brian Cannon. The storyline that they're talking about is not so much, I don't think, like the CM Punk storyline. I think it's actually more, and Brian agreed with me, it's more like the Stephanie McMahon on the Power Trip kind of storyline right now, because there are some similar arcs going on. So that's my answer to the question from last week. I said I would answer. I think it's more in tune. Thank you very much.
You don't deserve that.
I think it's more in tune to the Stephanie McMahon and Triple H
Nomo wanted to
storyline.
weigh in. He was speaking. So WWE this week.
It was good.
Raw was good.
Raw was good.
About time. It actually made stuff worth watching.
Yep.
Shawn Michaels kicked off the show.
It almost kicked off.
Not literally, but figuratively.
And he almost kicked Randy Orton's head off.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton almost RKO'd him. It was close.
There's no Christmas cards between those two.
No, very not so much.
Why not?
They don't like each other.
Why not?
They don't get along.
Why not?
They have issues.
Why not?
They.
Because Randy Orton was a young boy and Shawn Michaels was still in his prime, and Randy Orton pissed him off.
Yes.
Why not?
Shut up. How about the epic video of John Cena?
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
And we were talking before.
He's a wrestling Terminator.
Before the show.
He's a machine.
They can't let him leave. They can't let Cena go away.
Get there in a wheelchair.
Because they are struggling now with their storylines and their ratings. Bring back early to create some buzz for the pay-per-view. Because if not...
he's going to lose the match.
No, he's not.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're going to risk him.
I don't think they bring him back to lose.
I don't think they're going to risk him going to SmackDown.
Thanks to the belts.
Yes, they can.
They've
done it before.
I don't see it happening.
I can see it.
I think he wins.
I think he wins. There's no reason not to have him.
It's not. Our picks aren't set yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan has a match with Alberto Del Rio. Speaking of Del Rio, is in the middle of the fight, but Randy Orton decides to interrupt.
Of course he does.
Sort of. Yeah. He proceeds to go after the Bellas in the training room.
Who can blame him?
Primarily Brie.
Primarily Brie Bella.
But it wasn't in a loving way. It was like a stalker way.
In a stalker way. So Daniel Bryan went after him in the training room.
It was like 2007 MySpace stalker.
And she's like, he's not here anymore.
I like how you dated that.
He ran out. He's not here. And then all of a sudden, boom.
I love your impression of Brie Bella. It was very accurate.
I know.
It was spot on.
I know.
It was like I was ready.
Can you do that again?
He's not here anymore.
It's like I closed my eyes. I could think she was right here in this room.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you want to see my boobs?
Yes, please.
Is there vodka in this bottle?
What's in this drink?
That's enough.
I don't know.
So like Mary from Hell's Kitchen.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Let's come in.
Two beef Wellingtons. How long?
Anyway.
15 minutes, chef.
Enough of Gordon Ramsay.
Okay. So the main event.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Yeah.
The Shield versus Goldust and Cody Rhodes for the titles. Keep in mind, Triple H, this was his ideal.
Whoops. A little faux pas on his part.
A little backfire on his part.
No DQ.
So the Shield have the upper hand for most of the match thanks to Dan Ambrose.
Numbers game.
The numbers game. And all of a sudden you hear a bunch of ruckus coming from the crowd. A roar of the crowd.
Is it Dusty Rhodes?
Is it Dusty? No.
Is it his wife? His new wife?
No.
Is it Terry Reynolds?
No, but I wish.
Who is it?
The Big Show.
Oh boy.
For the first time in Big B's life, he was actually screaming happily for the Big Show.
Yeah.
That was
he was
too
there to help. He was there to help and do good. For someone clearly better than he was.
He KO punched not one, not two, but all three members of the Shield. Knocked them out.
Yep.
And Seth Rollins fell victim to the pinfall.
That was Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns fell victim to the pinfall 1, 2, 3. And Cody Rhodes.
The brothers Rollins.
And Goldust are your new WWE
The Rhodes brothers.
Tag Team Champions. Triple H comes storming down the ring, but Big Show was already in the crowd doing his best Daniel Bryan impression, going, yes, yes.
Surprised the crowd didn't pass out from Big Show's arms being raised.
I know. The odor was probably very bad. The pungent odor was very bad.
But yeah, I was so lost in the match, I was like, oh, it's over? I was like, oh, okay.
Another big epic thing from Raw. The epic promo that was, follow the buzzards. They can do no wrong.
He can't cut a bad promo.
No, probably not, but
that was epic.
It was.
Miz, like, I love how like the TV goes.
Yes,
that's epic. That whole ordeal is just amazing.
Yep.
Where do you think they're going with that?
I think they're setting up something between Wyatt and Miz.
Well, yeah, that's obvious. I mean, long term for Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt's going to be champion soon.
I'd say mid-card title right now. I don't know if a world title is.
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that cares about a championship either, which is what really kind of distinguishes
in terms of
him.
Bray Wyatt, he hasn't wrestled as much yet. He wrestled more with Husky Harris. But in terms of his character, Bray Wyatt, he hasn't really wrestled a lot since he made his debut in WWE.
He doesn't have to. The crowd loves him just for his promo.
But if he wants to be a champion, he kind of has to wrestle.
Yeah, I know. So, I'm just saying.
We'll see what happens down the road. But I think right now they're just slowly getting the character with people.
And actually, that might be what's going on too. Now that you've mentioned that, he might have too many. There might be too many people getting pushes right now.
Yeah.
And they know that they love Bray Wyatt. It's kind of like when Fandango was big. Because he kept on walking away from matches and all that. That's how they kind of killed off that character. And people still Fandango, so people still like him. Yeah. But they kind of killed his push. So maybe that's what they're kind of doing with Bray Wyatt.
All right. So that was wrestling this week. They're building things up to Hell in a Cell. We have several matches announced. We have.
Of course, John Cena.
John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio.
Which is not in Hell in a Cell being told.
We have Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan with Shawn Michaels as their supposed to
be. Some guy named Shawn Michaels.
We have Ryback and Paul Heyman. Yes, Ryback and Paul Heyman versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell match. Any other matches have been confirmed?
Not that I'm aware of yet.
Not yet, but we'll get the full card probably, or most of the card.
Yeah, wouldn't it be awesome if the Divas were in a Hell in a Cell match?
They would never do that.
This is not TNA. They won't do that.
They would never do that. Only we could do that at DWA.
That would be epic.
But not
Divas Steel Cage match. Epic. Hell in a Cell.
That would be amazing.
Style. Can you imagine a Bloody Brie?
No. Well, we did that at Destruction Mania too. We had a women's match.
Yeah, we did. Or
was everyone deemed the friend zone match?
Can you imagine a Bloody Beth Phoenix?
No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't have blood on a wrestler to begin with, let alone a female.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah.
You know, it would be interesting for sure. So that's wrestling this week. Do you guys have a wild card you'd like to talk about?
Just can't wait. I was able to procure those tickets.
Big words.
Skybox at LP Field. Beer and wings. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Skybox. This son of a Skybox.
For free.
How dare you? You sidewinding son of a... Anyway. Do you have a wild card, sir?
I guess we all do.
I have a wild card.
Okay, good.
I'd just like to say that this coming weekend, beginning on, I believe it's Friday night, it is the start of one of the biggest high school hockey tournaments in the United States.
Are you in it?
No, I'm not in it, but the reason why I bring it up is because teams come over from all the United States and converge to Louisville. It is the Shamrock Invitational. It is hosted by Trinity High School.
I couldn't figure that one out.
It's one of the largest high school tournaments in the United States. It draws, I think, 12 to 14 teams from all over the United States. It's a big deal. They play games from like 7 in the morning to like almost midnight. And if you live in the area, go check out. If you like ice hockey, I know there's not a pro team anywhere close or a minor league team, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, but there's nothing around here to really pique your interest. But high school hockey is actually really interesting. I've been to several games before, and it's really fun to see. So check that out. Like I said, the Shamrock Invitational. I think you can buy a 3-day pass or you can pay by day on that. So for sure, check that out. Absolutely. So it's my wild card.
Right. So my wild card this week, and I mentioned it earlier, this would be an interesting episode of the show. And my wild card is the show is going to dramatically change, and the reason for that is I'm going to be frank here. My laptop is not in the best condition to edit the show anymore. The processor is awful. It's not going to be able to do it in the manner we want to do it. And first of all, can you grow up, please? First of all, sports happens like that. Sports happens every day, every second. So what we're going to end up doing now, we're not going to go away. We're not going away.
We're not going away.
We're not going away. But what we're doing now,
we're firing you. Yes, I knew it. Finally, yes, yes.
I definitely know who's going to edit the show now. But due to the schedule of all three of us and the computer, the show is now going to be half an hour long. It's going to be just primarily football and wrestling. We don't have time to cover everything else because of the time and the computer.
For now.
Until I get a new laptop and we can probably go back to normal again. But for the time being, the show's going to be half an hour long just doing NFL and wrestling because it's a lot easier because of, number one, football and wrestling happen only once a week, so it's a lot easier to cover because it's easier to cover everything instead of, what happened this, or what this, you can't really do everything.
Sometimes the things we cover already happened and you've seen it so much that it's kind of old news, and we report it because we like to, and we feel the need that we should give it to you all, even though you all have probably already seen it. We enjoy giving you this news, and we enjoy, providing information. We enjoy doing the show. That's why originally we actually were just going to go away. We weren't even going to do the show anymore. But we like doing the show. We don't do it because we have to. We do it because we want to.
And because there's thousands of people that watch us. So.
And we feel that it would be better quality if we lowered the show time for 30 minutes.
And just for now.
That's only temporary. And when we come back to normal, we probably will not come back to a full long show like we do now. It'll still be trimmed up, probably to like 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, we'll probably talk to big sports, but we'll talk about that later.
But for right now, like you said, it's just going to be a half an hour thing with football and wrestling, and we still want to continue to provide you with good insight because we all know a lot about pro football. We all know a ton about wrestling, and we feel that wrestling and football are our two biggest topics that we all can agree on. We all have our own topics that we're more special at, like you with tennis, me with NASCAR, you with golf and college basketball. So this is kind of two sports and topics that we all can agree that are heavy and easy to discuss amongst the three of us, and we all know what to say and what not to say and what to talk about.
So, because I did see the comments this week, and people were complaining about it being long, and I completely agree. I think with a web show, an hour and a half to 2 hours is too much for people to handle. I think half an hour is more attuned for a web audience.
I agree.
That's my wall.
If we were on the radio, I agree.
Well, radio 3-4 hours is no problem.
Yeah.
If people are just listening all the time or on TV, it's a little bit different.
Exactly.
But that's my wild card. So.
All right.
Those are for the show this week.
Well, we do have an idiot of the week.
Make it quick.
We already talked about him, but we're still going to say it.
Okay.
Jim Irsay, not only are you an ass, but you're this week's episode 120 Idiot of the Week.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for all your support, guys. Just, if you want to like us on Facebook, please do it at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. You send us any comment or question you have, and of course your blogs at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. For the long version of Triple Threat Talk, for the final time, this is Big B.
This is Postmaster Jones.
And this is Gary the Dr. Lockard. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.